This is Brodie from Outperform Fitness, and welcome to tonight's career chat. So tonight we're going to be chatting to Jelena, and she's just recently completed Kapooka. She went through the Army Reserves short course, the 3-week course for that one, and she's gone through as a female at 45 years old. So this career chat is presented as a personal experience, and it's not on behalf of the Defence Force in any way. So I say again, this is a personal experience, and it's not on the behalf of the ADF. Okay, let's bring Jelena in here.
Hey guys, how you going?
How are you, Jelena? How's your night
pretty
going
good,
so far?
Yeah, pretty good.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, thank you again for doing this for us. It's always really good to get that first-hand experience from people that have gone through, especially with all the new changes, with all the stuff that's going on, and just the different experiences that people have throughout, not just enlistment, through basic training, and obviously the different job roles that they go into as well. So firstly, just share a little bit about yourself. So what was your life like before joining the reserve? So what were you doing?
Pretty full on. I was a used car manager for Toyota and Mazda. I'm a single mum. I've got 2 kids, 26 and 16. So just working full time, and I got bored during COVID and decided to sign up to Army Reserves.
Why
just
not?
For something to do. Yeah.
What sparked that interest? So obviously something's got to let you know that it's there to start with. So what sparked it? Was it an ad on TV or?
Well, I wanted to join when I was 16, and I wanted to join the Air Force. And they came out to the school and they said to me, women can't fly the big fighter jets. You have to fly, the big cargo one. I said, no, stuff that. So I moved on with life. And then during COVID, I loved CrossFit. I loved going to the gym, and I missed working out. And my home gym wasn't cutting it. So I thought, well, better way to keep fit and sort of, get out of my 5K radius here in Victoria and just, do something different. So that's what I did.
Awesome. Yeah. A lot of people do go through that sort of same journey. It's like, when you're young, 16, and you get the idea in your head, and some people jump on it. Some people have the opportunity to jump on it. Others, things come in the way of it. And then, later in life, when you get that opportunity again, it sparks back up, and you end up going through and making it through, which is good to see. You're on the other end.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's it.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I was going to say, it just took a while to get through. On the form, you have to go through your medical, and first finding my year 10 reports was challenging. I had to go back to the school and ask for them. They were somewhere in the archives, and then I listed everything. So going to the gym all the time. I'd hurt my hip, I've hurt my shoulder. So then I had to provide all the reports, and it took a long time, but we got through.
Yeah, worth it in the end. That's for sure. Just
Absolutely.
keep getting through. Jump through all the hoops that need to be jumped through, and don't give up. And it's definitely worth it in the end. So, any sort of initial concerns when you had that idea? You were bored and you wanted to go join the army. Any initial concerns or hesitations before you decided to put your name on the dotted line to?
No, I think the hardest thing was just the psychiatric assessment. I was pretty nervous going into that.
Yeah.
You think, what are they going to ask you? But no, it's all good.
Yeah, it does concern a lot of people, and a lot of people do ask, how do I study for it and stuff? It's like, you can't, not for that
No,
one.
you can't.
You can for the aptitude test and stuff, but the psych, it's a different story. It's, it's there to test you, test your psych, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's so many different questions that are asked in so many different ways, and I don't think there may be if someone knows, but I don't think there's really any way to prepare for those things other than just to go in and get it done.
Yeah.
Was it as daunting as what you thought with that psych test?
Well, I did it twice, because the first time I had to do it through Zoom, because lockdowns and everything, and my interview was through Zoom.
Yep.
And then the second time, then obviously a year expired, so I had to go do it again, and then that was face to face. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first guy was more scary than the second one, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, let's do a bit of a walkthrough of the steps of the application process, how you went through it, and any sort of challenges that you've already been touching on a couple there, but just any sort of challenges that you ran into along the way.
No, not that I can remember. Not really. It was pretty much just, they send you a aptitude test online, and you just do it, and then they give you all the jobs that you could possibly have, and then you sit down and pick through those and find which ones suit you, and then it's an interview and the psych assessment and the medical. And there was quite a few, medical things I had to do. So
Yeah.
after that, it was all smooth sailing. Next thing you know, it's a PFA and enlistment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So how long was the overall process for you from pretty much when you put that application in to enlisting?
Well, it was COVID, so I think it was 2021, end of 2020. So yeah, I'd get like almost to the point, and I'm almost ready for my PFA, and then they found a mole, and it was a melanoma, so I couldn't do anything for 2 months, and
Yeah.
that was all good, and then back almost up to it, and then just before then I had enlistment, and then just before I went to Kapooka, I fell off a horse and did all the ligaments in my ankle. And I had 6 weeks to get myself ready to be able to pass a PFA, which is 7.5 or 7.6.
Yeah.
So that was stressful times, but got
Yeah.
through it, and
Definitely remember that, and that definitely would have been a big challenge going from not being able to do anything on your ankle to needing to pass within that 7-week period.
Yeah, so I'd gone to it was a Tuesday night, and went off to the Rick, and the guys, the corporals, saw me on crutches, and they're like, aren't you going to Kapooka soon? I'm like, yeah, that was like the start of Feb, and I had to be there by what day was it? Good Friday was meant to be the first day of Kapooka.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to try my hardest. So yeah, I lost a little bit of fitness, but I just scraped through with 7.5. So
that's good. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a bit of bad luck happening through there.
It sure is.
Yeah.
But if I could get through Kapooka at 45 with like grade 2 ligament damage and get through it, anyone could do it. So and especially with your training, it just helps out so much. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in regards to your aptitude, like all of the testing, the initial testing, aptitude, physical, all that sort of stuff. How did you prepare for that? Were there any things like so obviously with the physical side of things, you come and got my help and
that's right.
through all of that. But aptitude side of things, did you?
Aptitude test, I jumped, I think I downloaded every app possible for aptitude tests for military, both American and Australian.
Yeah.
And then I did the test, and it was nothing like any of the the apps or anything that I had. So just be yourself, and just have an open mind and do it. And because it doesn't matter what you train for, the aptitude test, it's a whole bunch of dots, and it's like, pick what the next dot is. Is it a dot? Is it a dash? You just can't.
Yeah.
You can try and train for it, but nothing.
What about basic math? Was there basic math included in it? Just
I think there was a little bit.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit, but it was more like abstract stuff, which you can't train for it.
Yeah.
I'm hopeless at math, so if I can pass it, anyone can.
Yeah. But getting a hold of, because ADF do have their own little aptitude one as well. I'm sure that would have been in the mix that you downloaded, and
that was the first one. I finished that, and I was like, all right, what else can I practice on?
Need some more. At least getting into that sort of mindset of especially making your way through the questions and not getting stuck on questions too. Because that's a big thing. If you're spending all this time on the one question when you could have skipped it and just gone through 5 other questions and got them right. That's a big thing with the aptitude thing as well. So
did you skip through? I think I skipped through quite a bit. And just went, this one looks easy, I'll try this one.
So
awesome. That was a couple of years ago, so I can't remember exactly.
That's it. All right. Well, any tips for anyone going through the enlistment process at the moment for themselves?
Work on your fitness, and just don't give up. Don't give
Yeah.
up. Like at one stage they wanted me to do I had to fill in like an exercise diary of what kind of exercises I was doing to see if, and yeah, just keep on at it and you'll be right. Took me a
Yeah.
while, but yeah.
Yeah, with the physical side of things, we definitely got you up to a pretty good level, and then you busted yourself, and we're just like, oh,
Yeah.
we're going to do this.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but it's really good just to show, even with those setbacks, because I remember even with your busted ankle, you were still working on your fitness as well. You didn't, it wasn't one of those things. You were just like, oh, I've busted myself. There's no way I can do this. You were doing stuff in the background, still working on your fitness, still doing what you could as well, which would have been so much better coming back. And when you could run, you could get back in it and do that. Actually, train the running, but you'll still keep that base because you were able to, stay strong and keep doing stuff and work around your injury.
Yeah, I was doing like the ski ergs, sitting on a box and just like pulling it down. Yeah, it's just a lot of that, and then cycling when the physio let me. So it was
Were you doing
just
water stuff as well?
that's right. I was too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was running at the local pools, like just running in water from one side to the other for half an hour. It was like the most embarrassing, hardest thing. Running in water is so much harder. And then I bought one of these like floaty devices that go around your belly, and it keeps you like upright in the water. I can't remember what it's called. I can go and grab it if you want. And I was jogging like in deep water, and I'm scared of water, so deep water. So I was jogging in water, just like for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I couldn't get my heart rate up. I remember having a conversation with you saying I can't get my heart rate up. Like I think I sat around 130 or 140, which is like, for me, that's like zone 2. And I just couldn't get it to like that high intensity. So I just had to just work on zone 2. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, it worked.
It worked.
That's the
I
main
got
thing.
through. So I was a bit nervous going into Kapooka with it, but worked out fine. And wearing boots helps hold your ankle in. So all good.
Awesome. Okay, let's move on to basic training now. So for those that are looking at joining the Army Reserve, so the basic training is it's just that very first course that you're going to do that will teach you the very basics that you need to know as a soldier, like things like drill, weapons, first aid, just very, very basic stuff. But the course is there to break you down and rebuild you back as a soldier with those fundamental skills there and mindset towards the Defence Force as well. So for the reserves, it's only a 3-week course now, which is it has its pros and cons. Definitely, it has a lot more opportunity for people to get down there and take time away from work and do it, or uni, or whatever it is that you're doing. So that 3-week course is definitely opens up that opportunity for those people that are a little bit more busy. So it's located down at Kapooka, so that's right near Wagga. And if you're looking from sort of Canberra area, it's more inland, about 3 hours, so pretty much in the middle of nowhere. And there's not much else there other than the recruit training centers. So when you were there, Jelena, what sort of fitness testing did you go through? Like, what was conducted there in regards to fitness testing?
Yeah, well, I think everyone I've spoken to has had a different experience because we got there on Good Friday. So I think anything that they usually plan with the Easter break wasn't really done. So we did our PFA on day 4. So you had a few days of, is it going to be today? Is it not going to be today? What should I have for breakfast? What should I eat? Like, you're trying to time it, but you can't time it. It just happens when it happens. So for us, it was a quick breakfast and then straight into it. So just push-ups, sit-ups, and the beep test.
Yep. And in regards to that as well, because now there's the non-combat and combat passing, thing before you join, is that still in play there as well?
It sure is. Yeah. So we did a PFA. I think it was a couple of weeks before, 2 weeks before we went to Kapooka to make sure we passed, and then we did it at Kapooka on day 4. So
okay.
So it was the push-ups, the sit-ups, and then the beep test straight after.
All right. Big question. Did many people fail that initial one?
We had 2 that failed the initial one. One was on the beep test and one was on the push-ups. So
Right.
yeah,
And what happened? What was the
they had an opportunity
process?
to do it a second time on a different day. I think they got them up super early in the morning.
Yep.
And yeah, after that they failed, so they went home. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it
Simple as
was
that.
sad to yeah watch people go home, but yeah. So whether
Definitely.
or not it's a little bit of nerves because it's day 4 and you've been
Exactly.
doing drill and everything, but yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's why you want to be confident with it. There's so much stress that's going on. Like you said, is it going to happen today? You got all this other stuff going on. That uses energy, and it's energy that's you're not going to be able to use towards that fitness test. So you want to be pretty comfortable with it. You don't want to be one of those people that are sent home just because you can't pass a simple fitness test. So
yeah,
definitely work on
absolutely.
it beforehand. Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
I
something you
was nervous as I'm like my ankle just held up, and that was with Nurofen, and obviously you can't take any medications
got.
prescribed to you. So yeah, I went into that test going, "Oh my god, I hope I make it." So
Yeah,
nerves for 4 days.
yeah,
So yeah, you want
yeah,
to have you want to be at least if you need 7.6, you want to be at least in the 8, so that way your nerves and everything, you can still pass it.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was
Good.
just
How did
touch.
you go with it?
I got 7.6, but they pegged me down 1 to 7.5. But on all the
Okay.
PFAs, I've always gotten to 7.6 minimum.
Yeah,
So yeah. So I
awesome.
was really nervous. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
But
good.
push-ups and sit-ups, I was fine. That's no problem.
Okay, cool. What about swim test?
Swim test, we did that. I think it was the end of the first week, somewhere after the beep test.
Yep.
All the days sort of meshed together. It was actually so I was expecting it to be what it says on the app, which is for combat roll was 3 minutes of treading water, and then I can't remember if it was 25 or 50 meter swim. Now
Hmm.
I don't like deep water,
Yeah.
and I've been doing swimming lessons every week since I think December last year, and yeah, it ended up not being, there was no treading water. It was pretty much jumping in and out of the pool, like just like sliding in and sliding back out.
Yep.
But it's really high up, so you're really using like all your shoulder muscles to push you out of the water.
Hmm.
And then it was just like a couple of laps of like you had to freestyle it to the end, and then it was backstroke back, and then I think breaststroke and side stroke. That was
Okay.
it.
Yeah. So was that regarded as a fitness test, or was it just more a
I think it was
swim
like an intro.
distance?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. And I was like, we're not treading water. So like there was an option of using floaties, like a floaty that sort of sits like around your waist.
Yeah.
And there was 4 of them, and I saw the deep water, and I'm like, I'll take the floaties, thanks. So yeah, don't stress if you're not a very good swimmer. Like obviously, I'm still doing swimming lessons to get me to a level where I'm confident in deep water.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are floaties there, so it's not something. Yeah, you'll be able to pass it, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good. Yeah, and that's it. In the tactical environment as well, swimming is one of those things that you want to be confident with as well, and that's good that you're going off and getting your swim lessons. Yeah, because there's many different scenarios that you could end up in water, and if you do any sort of deployments and things like that, you end up doing something called Hewitt training, and that's helicopter escape underwater training, whatever it stands for. Where you'll be put in a mock-up helicopter, spun upside down, blindfolded, and you got to you got
it's
to
like
hold your breath.
SAS Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, hold your breath and try to escape from this helicopter underwater. And yeah, if you're not confident being underwater and being around water, then that's obviously going to be pretty hard for you. And if you don't pass it, then yeah, you're going to struggle getting the deployment as well. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of scenarios in those environments where yeah, you want to be confident with water stuff.
Yeah, well, I went army to stay away from water, but
Yeah,
all especially armed vehicle, yeah, all your vehicles are mostly amphibious. You can end up in water anytime. So yeah, definitely have
exactly,
to work on that. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, definitely. Now, PESA in the 3-week course, don't see it.
There is an intro right at the end in week 3.
Yep.
So
Okay.
there was an intro where we did you're in a prone position, and it's like the beep test.
Yep.
You've got your weapon, and you have to run to the next line. I think it's 6 meters, and then drop down into a prone position as well. So it's like a beep test with a weapon, throwing yourself to the ground. So
Yep.
I think it's 6 rounds of that, and then it's a jerry can carry. So you've got 2 jerry cans and you've got to walk to the next line and back again. I think there's a beep as well. What else was there? Oh, yeah, and lifting up, I think it was 25, 30 kilos and 20 kilo boxes, like up to about shoulder height. Yeah, that was it. That was our intro.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, so you did touch on it at least. That's good. What about BFAs, the basic fitness assessment? Do you get diagnosed?
We didn't do that, but I got to my RIC and they're like, all right, when are you ready for your 2.4? So
straight up. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, just give us a quick overview of like the sort of things, like the training and stuff that you did there. So what sort of things did you go through, as I sort of touched on before, drill, first aid? Like what are some things that stuck in your mind that you learned while you were there that was pretty good?
Yep, there was the first week there was a lot of drill, so a lot of marching and learning how to turn and salute and things like that.
Fun stuff.
I enjoyed that. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, I in hindsight, you enjoy the experience. Like you look back and you're like, wow, it's a money can't buy experience. So yeah, I can't complain. What else did we do? We did there wasn't the guys were sort of saying there wasn't enough PT for them. But you're walking up this steep hill every day, and we were on level 3, so there's no lifts there. Everything is walking upstairs, 3 levels of stairs, up and down, up and down, up and down. So you do get a little bit. It was a couple of pack marches. We did a pack march up to a range, and then we did another one up to the Pesa, which was like I think 10 kilos loaded. I think the guys were like 15, but we were all falling apart by that stage. So they're like, go 10 if you need to.
Yep.
There was a couple of PT combat sessions. So it was like learning how to climb over walls, learning how to climb ropes, learning how to leopard crawl, things like that, throwing tires up and over. And then the rest were weights. So pretty much a lot of it. And there was a few functional fitness things. So a lot of like what your training is was there. So sometimes it was really comfortable. It was like, oh yeah, we do this every week. So
good. Yeah,
it's good. Yeah,
exactly what Paz was saying in the last interview. It was nearly exactly what we were doing. So funny that.
It was like walking around with jerry cans, and a few of the guys, like, I picked it up, or there was like a kettlebell swing, or like goblet squats.
Yeah,
and it was just like, you'll move over, guys. Like, I'll take a heavier weight. I do this every week. So, no, it was good.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good. How'd you go with the adjustment to daily routine and just the overall strictness of a place down there?
Well, I am the type of person, I will get there, but I'm never on time. So it was a bit of a culture shock for me.
Yeah.
But I've learned to be on time now. So I'm usually earlier than late. The first couple of days, it is a real culture shock. It is, you can't describe it. There's no, I think one of the girls mentioned on the Facebook page about timings. Like, there's no spare time. Everything is, you don't know. You don't know if you've got 5 minutes or 15 minutes. So you're always trying to get something done, whether it's your washing or your ironing, or you just don't know. It's like, you don't know if you can go to the toilet. You don't know if you're going to have, like, you just don't know what's coming next. So you spend half your time sort of stressing, do I have time to do this, or do I not have time? So that's pretty much your first few days. But then after that, it's sort of, you get into a routine and it just becomes the norm.
Squeezing things in whenever you can. Oh, I've got a little bit of time. I should iron my shirt, or get something ready for.
You turn on the iron and it's like, oh, you got 5 minutes, and you're like, oh shit, turn this off. And it's good. It's good.
Awesome. So what was the most challenging thing, like any sort of big challenging moments that stand out for you while you're down there?
Holding the weapon. Like, I had my gun license. Like, I love shooting, but holding that weapon out in front of you for long periods of time is just like, while you're learning to use it, and they're going through the line of everybody, and you're just holding it there, and it's getting heavier and heavier. Yeah, that's something that took me a little while to get used to. But by the third week, you sort of, that 5 kilos doesn't feel like 20 kilos. It becomes a lot lighter. But
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be heavy, because usually, when you're shooting with your mates, it's different than holding it out there until someone says to you, okay, you can now put the gun down. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
But
probably the hardest thing for me.
for
Yeah.
sure. It is. It does take you by surprise. Even just patrolling with them, with just holding on to a patrol, and if you haven't got a slung or anything like that, yeah, your arms just working the whole time. That 5 kilos gets heavier and heavier and heavier, and when you're holding on to it for so long, it becomes a
And
problem.
then you've got the webbing on, and then you've got the backpack. And I'm
Yeah.
like a turtle, because I'm only six. What am I? 5'3". So,
Yeah.
and I'm only 59 kilos. So holding this backpack and the gun and the helmet and everything else, it was challenging. But you just put one foot in front of the other and keep on going. So
That's it.
yeah,
Awesome. All right. What did you find the most rewarding part of it? Anything that stands out for you?
jumping on the bus and going home. I look at it was all passing each stage, like it's a sigh of relief once you get the PFA over and done with, because it's like, okay, now you're there to stay. And then they're
Yeah.
like, oh no, if you fail your weapons training, you get to go home. So then it's like stress, get your weapons done, and then you pass that, and then you're okay, we're good to go. And then the next part comes along, and I think the hardest thing for me was the RATEL, like learning how to use the radio. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't hard, but just like saying it and not trying like to sound corny. That was probably one of the hardest things. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
I actually just put a post up with about the phonetic alphabet as well. It's a good idea to learn that before you go. It's just one little thing that you've already got going before you have to learn everything else to do with the RATEL.
yeah, I have to agree, because like you sort of, you're going N for November, but then in your head you're like, oh no, N finale. So yeah, you're so used to saying like your own thing that you forget that you've got to say other things. So no,
Yeah,
that's definitely handy to have.
yeah,
And saying over at the end, that's another good
yeah,
tip. And I guess learning all the rest of the weeks was learning first aid, and dragging a dummy off the ground. That's probably
yep. Yeah, awesome. Cool. So, yeah, the big question that a lot of people have been asking is, whether or not your age impacted your experience while you're there, either positive or negative, impacting it.
No, I don't think so. Our oldest was 61, and
Really?
yes, he was super fit. So he was absolutely a gun. I think he used to be in the police force or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was an absolute weapon. The obviously, some of our youngest was, I think, just 17 going on 18.
Yep.
And obviously, most of the younger guys in their early 20s, they can run a lot faster.
Hmm.
We only had one session where we did just running. Everything else was weights.
Yep.
And I'm like, my legs are pretty strong. I could deadlift 100 kilos. So yeah, I could, keep up with the guys. I think the first time they said you can only go to 60 kilos anyway. I think they were just trying to get a gauge for who could lift and who couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, you're sort of there running your own race. There's no, it's not a race of, come first. It's just that you try hard and you try your best. So yeah, I work in car sales. So for me, it's a male dominated industry anyway. And
Yep.
it doesn't, it's like a little family there. You're all sort of together, going through the same experience, and you all sort of become a little family. So yeah, I didn't see that at all. I think one of the guys was called Dad. I was told to expect to be called Grandma, but no one called me Grandma, so it's all good. Yeah. So no, it
Awesome.
wasn't. It didn't. Yeah, it didn't impact anything.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think if you just work on your fitness,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what age you are. You can be. Yeah, I wasn't as fit as a 61-year-old. I'll tell you that much.
It's
He could do
crazy.
heaves and everything. So yeah.
That's awesome. That is so good. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is that I see in my mind is if people obviously later in life when you just don't take care of yourself, it compounds, and by the time you get to 40 or so, you may have let yourself go a lot, whereas 20-year-olds can still get away with it pretty well and still jump out of bed and be able to run pretty well, but obviously just getting your fitness back on track would be the number one thing. But I honestly think it'd be a positive thing being a little bit older going through there. Like you got all that life experience, that hardship that you've already been through. So going through something like that, it's not that big of a thing. Whereas someone that's just out of high school, that's never really been through anything hard in their life,
Yeah.
that's probably going to be one of the hardest things that they'll ever do. And yeah, it's going to be going to impact them a lot more. Whereas you're a little bit more resilient when you're older.
I think so. And like we were all going through the same thing. So it was really like the first day or so, you're like, oh my God, what am I doing here? And then you hear someone else go who's like, in their 20s, really big, strong male going, oh my God, what am I doing here? And you sort of everyone just bonds over, well, we're all in it together. Let's just get through one more day. And then it just becomes a bit of a joke at the end. So yeah. Then you sort of get to the end and you hear the new recruits come in, you all just have a laugh. So it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a phrase, I can't remember it, where everyone bonds over that,
trauma bonding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it. We all did it over trauma bonding. And look, it's money can't buy experience. You're not going to get it anywhere else. The food is actually pretty good unless you get those hot boxes. But the food, I was actually surprised. I was expecting, I bought this cotton candy toothpaste. I figured that's going to be the only sweet thing I have in 3 weeks. But the food, like there's ice cream, there's all sorts of food. It's great. So you won't miss anything.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what Paz said last time as well. In the last interview that I did, he said the food was really good there. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
really good.
It's like.
All right. Well, is there any so someone that's just about getting ready to go off basic training, any sort of tips that you'd like to give out? Any sort of equipment that maybe they don't put on the list, or things to learn that might help them beforehand? Anything like that?
Yeah. So don't pack a 20-kilo suitcase, because if you're on the top floor like I was, you're gonna lug that suitcase on your first day up 3 flights of stairs. Only take what you need. Like just take what's on the list. Like swimwear is provided for females and for males. So they'll supply you with everything, even socks. Like I took, I think, 7 pairs of socks. I used 1 pair of socks for the first day, and then they issue you your kit the next day. So don't take 50,000 things. Don't take dry shampoo. You'll be lucky to wash your head twice. Don't take a whole bunch of stuff. Don't take makeup. You're not going to be able to get any chance to use it. So just work on your fitness, take a few extra pens. They provide you with like pads and notebooks to write in. So take bare minimum. It'll help you out. Yeah. And don't forget your thongs on the first night. I left them in my suitcase, and I'm never leaving my thongs in my suitcase again. I learned my lesson the hard way. So
So did you end up standing on the admin line for anything? You get pinned for anything?
Not as bad as some. No, obviously I couldn't turn on the admin line, so they tried not to have me there. No, I didn't. There was a few guys who did get the admin line for about half an hour, and I saw a bingo flying. But other than that, no, I didn't.
You've done well.
Not to that. Yeah, not to. Well, I couldn't say I am the last female in the SALs or whatever. However it goes, I still can't do it. I was lucky enough to have another female who was absolutely amazing, and she would I would help her with things, and she would help me with that, because I could not get that right for the life of me.
Yeah, and that's a very, very common thing that you hear down at Kapooka, and it's just the ADF in general. There's you help your mates out, and they help you out. There's always going to be something. No matter how good you are at stuff, there's always going to be something that you need help with. So always help someone else out as well. And
absolutely,
it'll come back.
Yeah.
All right. Now that you've completed all your basic training, so what are you up to? What's the Army Reserves look like for you at the moment?
So obviously I'm not there tonight, but every Tuesday night, my unit's fantastic. They've had open days. They've had vehicle maintenance days. So I think there's a couple of things coming up as well, but I'm off to, what's the next thing? LCMs. I'm off to that in a couple of months' time. And then there's CAV2 training as well for,
awesome.
vehicle. So
that's it. Yeah, balancing civvy and military commitments. What's that like? Like, what does it look like with you parading? What's your commitment? What do you have to do with all of that?
It would have been tough, but I actually told my work they were a bit hesitant in letting me go off to Kapooka last minute. And so I said to them, well, I'm going to Kapooka and nothing's stopping me. So I'm reapplied for a different role as a prison officer, so which I was going to do before I went, and then I got conned into staying at my current work. So yeah, I am now no longer working there and in the process of going to the prison. So that should be good because I think you get 20 days military leave a year.
Yep.
Yeah, so that should be all right.
Awesome. Yeah. So with parade nights, you're every Tuesday night. You have weekends pop up every now and then. Have they told you any sort of schedule that you run off at all?
Yeah, there's a couple of like different apps that they use, and with those apps, like it gives you like a schedule. I know like the schedule for the year pretty much. It's sort of like blanked out this weekend on each month we'll be going away if you want to, and every Tuesday night. So it's from 7 to 10. So yeah.
Yeah, so plenty of notice so that you can plan your year out and the days that you want to get in and do some army stuff.
Yeah, and they're always saying like, if you need a letter for your employment, they'll organize it or they'll call your work. So yeah, it's pretty well organized.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome. All right. Well, what key piece of advice would you give someone that's considering joining the military, and especially later in their career? So someone 40 plus. Is there any sort of advice you'd like to give out to those people?
Yeah, if you're thinking of it, you only live once and you're only going to get older. So just do it. Just work on your fitness. That's the main thing. Everything like walking up the hill is easier if you've done your fitness. Carrying that pack is easier if you've done your fitness. Carrying the gun is like everything is easier the fitter you are. And like I had lost fitness, so I could feel sometimes it was challenging.
Mm,
But everyone around me is in the same position. Like the whole platoon is there doing the same thing, and even the younger guys, they're like, "Oh, my leg hurts, my arm hurts." Like we're all feeling it. So
yeah.
it didn't matter if I would have been 20. I would still be feeling like my legs
Yeah.
would have been sore. My neck would have been sore. Whatever it would have been. The only thing I can, when you're walking back from medical and it's been a long day and it's dark, watch where you're going. Don't be talking to the guy next to you, because I fell. And when you fall and you got your pack on and you got your webbing and you've got your gun and you're right at the back, and you fall, like you can't hold yourself because you've strapped the gun too tightly to your neck. So I fell, landed flat on my face. The gun hit me in the face. I thought I'd lost both my teeth, but I didn't. I just had like a big fat lip. It looked like I had Botox for about a week. So yeah, just watch where you're going, because like there are potholes and you will fall in them. Yeah, that's and just the piece of advice I was given was just play the game. And yeah, just like everything's a lesson. You don't notice it at the start, but towards the end, like their person, like the corporal's personalities come out. And if they're a bombardier, call them bombardier. Don't call them a corporal. Yeah, look out for the badge on the hat. Other than that, like it's a great experience. Like I've been back for 2 weeks now, maybe 3. I can't remember, but yeah, just at the time you're like, oh my god, but when you finish, it's like now it doesn't feel like it was that bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great experience, and you've got lots of stories and you have a lot of laughs and you stay in
Awesome.
touch with everyone. So yeah,
Yeah,
no, if
that's
you're
good.
thinking of it, just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you were saying, like you initially, you feel like you're doing all this stuff for no reason, but then towards the end, you start to see all the pieces start to fall together, and yeah, it all come together, and you'll see what they've been trying to do with all those little bits and pieces, and the reason they've been yelling at you and everything as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's all the questions I've got for you. So we've got a couple of questions that were sent in early. We'll just see if we haven't answered these already. So this one's from Rachel. As a female in a male dominant environment, how did you find the training, downtime, and were there any adverse events that you experienced?
apart from falling on my gun,
Yeah.
no adverse events. The guys were absolutely wonderful. They, everyone looks after. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. Everyone just looks after each other. It's like we're all in it together. It's the most like I don't think you get that at your workplace. What you get at Kapooka. Everyone just whether it's trauma bonding or not, like everyone just comes together. It was really lovely. You actually sort of miss it when you leave. So. Yeah, and it's not like male. There's no bravado there at all. It's just everyone's just trying to get through it as best they can, and everyone's feeling the same nerves that you are. So yeah,
that's it. Everyone's in there doing the same thing, and it's a pretty crazy thing. Like even on the bus down there, because everyone's going down to do the same thing. You start to bond before you even get to the place, and and the further you go, the stronger it gets. Everyone goes and all the guys shave their heads. Everyone looks the same. And,
yeah. Well, the poor guys didn't even, because it was Good Friday, they didn't even get to go to the hairdresser. So the corporal did it in the laundry room. And there was like blood on the back of their heads. So they copped it with a blunt blade.
Nice.
But good for the experience. Yeah.
All right. Well, second one from Rachel. So, as an older person joining the ADF, because she's joining as well, how did you feel you fared compared to those that were younger, and how did you go in what would have been a group of largely younger people joining the ADF? Yeah, I think you touched on that pretty well.
Yeah, there was a few people that were older than me, and there were a few people that were younger. There was people that were younger who were in their 20s who like failed their PFA, who couldn't, do it as well as some of the older people. So it's not about age. It's just about your fitness. And I think your training program like really works really well in getting everyone to where they need to be.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We also had one from Kate, but that was just all about the swim test and a few other things that we've completely gone through.
She's scared, take your floaties.
She's also joining as armored vehicle crew as well, so that's cool. All right, now let's check out. I'll just check the group and I'll see if we've got any questions from any of the listeners. All right, so we've only got 2 comments here. See if I can see them. It's playing up a little bit there. Yeah, Facebook's screwing me up with all how they do their stuff now. Okay, so just see that. So Tegan's got a comment. I also did lots of practice for the Aptitude and the same. It was nothing I'd practiced before. So I skipped through a lot. Awesome. All right. Well, we haven't got any questions in there, so we've obviously covered a lot of stuff, and hopefully covered a lot of the questions that people had, and helped people out with a bit more information of what it's like, and that it's not that daunting. Even if you are going 61, which is crazy, that has to be one of the oldest that have gone.
And he's doing engineers as well.
Yeah.
So like, you think combat is heavy, engineers is like next level heavy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah. Some people just don't age.
That's right. I think it's more mental. It's more mental.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of it, definitely. And just keeping your body moving as well. Some people, like I said, it accumulates. Like you think of how long you haven't done any training for, and it just keeps building up. And it's just a matter of, taking that first step and cracking in and getting it, reversing all of that, that time that you haven't been moving and just getting your body going again.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, that is it. Have you got anything final that you'd like to say? Anything that you'd like to go over? Any final tips or anything like that? Or are you pretty happy with everything that we've gone over?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Just thank you so much for helping out with everything, and every time, when I did have injuries, you helped me get back on track. So I really appreciate that. And just like, guys, just give it a try. Get out there and do it. Just like do the training, do the running. You'll feel a lot fitter. There will be days you wake up and you're just like in a lot of pain from, the day's training before, but just do what you can. And, after lights out, you can always, have a shave or fix your hair out before you have to get up for the morning, or that's whatever I was doing. Other than that, yeah, it's a good it's only 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like some of the guys are there, I think it's 9 or 11 weeks for the full timers. But just push through and you'll get there in the end. It's good experience when you look back on it. So no, it's not that scary.
When you're there.
Look, the second week, third week, it started to get a bit easier. You take a lot of notes. There are PowerPoint presentations, but like everything, like you might do one PowerPoint presentation and then you'll do a physical aspect of it. So it all just ties together, but you don't see it till the end. So just jump in the deep end and give it a shot. Ties together.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for sharing your experience. I'm sure it's helped a lot of people out, and we all everyone always reaches out and really appreciates the people that jump on these career chats and take the time out of your day. You're doing this off your own back, giving everyone all of this experience and all this knowledge towards it. And hopefully a lot of people get plenty of information out of it, which I'm sure they will. So thank you very much for doing this for us. We
no
really
worries. Thank you. Yeah, no worries. All the best. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for this chat. So if you are keen on finding out a little bit more about my Battle Ready program that Jelena went through and many others did preparing for the Defence Force, feel free to reach out. I'll also chuck a link in the description of any of these posts that I post out there through YouTube and all of that. I'll make sure I chuck a link in the description so you can click on that and learn a little bit more as well. But also, don't forget to follow me follow me on all the channels that I'm on. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and we've also got the Tactical Fitness Forum that we usually run these live in as well. And that's where people get the opportunity to ask those questions. So feel free to join that. That's a Facebook group. So just search Tactical Fitness Forum in Facebook groups and you'll find that. But outside of that, just look for Outperform Fitness across all the channels and you'll find me. And there's loads of free information to help you guys out through all of this process and beyond. All right. Thank you, Jelena. Thank you, everyone that joined in. We'll see you next time. Catch you later.
Thanks.